I hope everybody out there is doing great, and I hope you're having an amazing day. I'm not. Because I've been uploading consistently pretty much every day, I'm gonna voice my frustrations out on the mic. Mind you, the frustrations that I have has nothing to do with what I'm about to talk about today. It's just that, hey, I'm upset, so I might as well talk about something else that kind of frustrates me, but it's about the gaming industry, right? Specifically, Dragon Ball games. Bro, how many times are we gonna go through the Dragon Ball Z storyline? How many times are we gonna go through Dragon Ball Z? You know, this iconic, set-in-place thing that made history absolutely incredible. It's a phenomenal story. It's popular. But okay, we understand it's great. I've been playing these games for the last 20 years. No hate to them. Please don't take this as hate. But when are we gonna get another game that is like Kakarot or something that's like Dragon Ball Fighters when we get the OG cast of Dragon Ball? I'm talking about actually from the time my boy Goku hit his head on that damn rock until the time this nigga was grown fighting Piccolo in the 23rd World Tournament. We need to get scenes. We need to get stuff from them traveling and doing training in the water, carrying the milk and stuff. What the only games we got of Dragon Ball is in the DS, bro. The DS and the freaking Game Boy. When was the last console Dragon Ball game? I'll wait. Somebody tell me in the comments. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Hey, but tell me. You can't. They don't exist. And if it does, it's not in America. Like, come on, bro. I get it. The whole Dragon Ball Z storyline is great. But you're talking about 6 to maybe 9 arcs, depending on what you're counting as arcs, out of a total of like 16. Like, it's only a portion of the story. How you gonna start the story midway through? It's a great starting point, don't get me wrong. But I hate having to clarify certain things when I'm talking about Dragon Ball and niggas be like, oh yeah, that's, you know, Goku's story, you know, he's an adult, he has a kid. No, bro, he didn't have a kid at first. And we seen this nigga grow up from being like 13 years old. Like the OG story, him meeting Boma and Master Roshi and having to go through the whole thing of meeting the Ox King, actually developing the story with him and Chi-Chi. You know, him fighting Devilman, him going through freaking the cave and learning that, yo, he's really strong, but he's not him all the time, you know? Like, he has to depend on friends. His fight with Yamcha in the desert, the first time he met Tien Shinhan. Demon King Piccolo, what are we doing right now? It frustrates me because I know the last freaking Dragon Ball Z Kakarot DLC was a glimpse of what we could be getting in a Dragon Ball game. How many fans have been asking for a set-in-stone Dragon Ball definitive version game? And we haven't gotten it yet. And it's been like 4 years now. I think that we should at this point have something in development to just go through the whole Super arc. I mean, yes, we have some DLCs that has obviously come out, and we have things that have progressed. But Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, as I revisit it, it frustrates me, not because it's a bad game, but because it makes me think of what they could have done with this game. I don't care what your frustrations are about the gameplay, about certain story points getting taken out. It's a video game, shit get taken out all the time. What frustrates me is that we don't actually have one single game that has all of the story of Dragon Ball in the game. Not even Tenkaichi. Tenkaichi doesn't cover the entire story of Dragon Ball beat for beat. It gives you those good moments, those good fights. It doesn't get you that. Do you even know why Gohan is even called Gohan? Goku freaking named him after his grandfather that he accidentally killed. Did you even notice that when you watching Dragon Ball Super, when he's at the goddamn witch's house? I can't remember her name off the top of my head, and I have a headache and I don't feel like thinking about it, but you know what the hell I'm talking about. And he's like doing that shadow boxing. That's a reference, direct reference to the shit from Dragon Ball. No, I feel like nobody knows Dragon Ball. Everybody knows Dragon Ball Z. So when you say Dragon Ball, niggas just automatically assume you talking about Dragon Ball Z. I'm not. If I say Dragon Ball, I'm talking about Dragon Ball. If I say DBZ, I'm talking about DBZ. If I say GT, I'm talking about Dragon Ball GT. If I say Super, I'm talking about Super. And get that Kai shit out of here because they changed Gohan's voice and they changed Frieza's voice. I don't care how well you think they did that shit. The OGs cannot be beaten. Like how we get Bardock's story before we get a game that shows off Dragon Ball's full capabilities. The whole Dragon Ball Z Kakarot story thing, like how it's presented to us, that is the perfect setup for a Dragon Ball game. How many people know about Android 8? Aider? Goku's history with the Red Ribbon Army? Do you even realize or even know why Goku has a history with General Tao and why that nigga was so scared of Gohan? I know they did like a small brief freaking thing in the anime that showed like, oh yeah, he met Goku when he was a kid. Go do your research. Go play that. Why can't we have a game that I'm just frustrated for the Dragon Ball game. Just Dragon Ball games are great. All Dragon Ball games are pretty great. I mean, you got some really bad ones out there, yes, of course, but we have the majority of Dragon Ball games that are great. They capture the story really well. But when I say Dragon Ball games, what it's really being interpreted as is Dragon Ball Z games, because that's really all we have for the last 20 years, bro. I love Akira Toriyama's art style. I love Akira Toriyama's story, but I love the full story of it. Even if we had separate games, we don't even need a full game that encapsulates the entirety of the whole story. But for Lord have, like, for the fans, give us, somebody out there, a game that we can truly call the definitive Dragon Ball game. The not included. And if you're gonna make Kakarot that, add that shit in DLC. So that way when we play through the game, when we start up the game, it asks us, do you want to play through the story of Dragon Ball first before the events of Kakarot? That would be fire as hell. Fire. And then do that same shit for GT. As much as GT has gotten hate on, there are some pretty good moments in there. You're not gonna sit there and tell me that you didn't fuck with Nova Shenron or Shin or Omega or the whole Shenron arc. I get it. There's a lot of stuff in there that I don't like. I just dropped a video talking about the stuff that I don't like about GT. But for as many things that I don't like about GT, it's still pretty great. Soundtrack was still hitting. Dialogue still hitting. Honestly, GT over Super. I don't care. Hate me. GT over Super. Baby Vegeta's arc, fire. The beginning of GT, trash. I will 100% agree with you on that shit. Garbage. But GT as a whole? Bro, get out of here, bro. They did some fucked up shit to my boy Goten, but that's besides the point. I'm talking about video games. Just for the sake of it being extra content, I would like a game to fully flesh out the GT arc that we can play through in like a chronological order. Why shouldn't we have a video game? Just thinking purely for the purists out there that absolutely love the Dragon Ball storyline. Something, and this would be like the golden, like I said, definitive Dragon Ball game that covers the whole history from Bardock to Dragon Ball. And then, like, I'm putting it in the storyline, like I'm putting it in timeline now. Bardock's story leads into Dragon Ball, and then from that it leads into Dragon Ball Z, and then it leads into Turles, and it goes into Lord Slug, and then it goes into stuff like you get to go through all the movie moments and stuff, right? And then you get to GT, and then after GT you get into Super, which would be fire, or actually it would be Super and then GT. That shit would be, shit just be so gas. And then I don't know, because I've recently been playing Boost Fury and shit, and revisiting some story arcs, realizing that there was supposed to be another tournament in Otherworld in like 200 years or something. That should be like the closing moment of Dragon Ball. Have all the Z fighters after they've passed away, like at the end of GT, would have made that shit perfect instead of having like old Pan and stuff there. Why didn't we just get like another tournament arc? I don't like cool Goku Jr., Vegeta Jr., fire, absolutely fire, gas. That was like the new Goten Trunks for real. It wasn't a new Goku Vegeta. That shit was a new Goten Trunks. Let's be for real. It would have been fire to close out the whole series, seeing everybody participate in that other world tournament, and like shit would just been gas. Shit would have just been gas. All right, I'm done talking your ear off. It's probably been like far too long, maybe 10 minutes or something, and this is probably very loosely edited. But hey, I just had stuff that I wanted to get off of my chest. I already had a bad day, and it's easy to rant when you have a bad day. So why not talk about some shit that I know that I could talk about with my community, regardless if y'all crucify me or not. Please don't, Lord. Now forgive me for saying that. Everybody out there, stay safe. I'm gonna catch you in the next one, and hopefully you had a great day, because I did. Peace.